Welcome back to Happy Little Notaries. Today we are talking about my plugin, Photochemist, and you've probably already seen a video that kind of talks through a little bit of how to set up the node tree and quick processing. And so we're kind of just where we're picking up where we left off on that conversation and talking about the next module of what's going on, which is our input conditioning. Our input conditioning. So this set of tools right here, this is supposed to be a strength slider. It is just functionally an on-off slider. So anything above 1, it's on-off, on-off. You can see if you don't use this, you're gonna have to redo your image and like everything differently. This is taking our input linear image, and it's just it's massaging those values in a way in which we're not changing that input image at all. We're just affecting how to understand that image. And I have a tool, it's a DC tail that is kind of like this as a standalone called Dynamic Rescaler. This has kind of been function built to operate in this system, so it's slightly different, but fairly similar. And in all essence, what it's doing, it should always be on, it is changing. You can think about this theoretically. What is the max level stops that my camera probably had when it recorded this image? And so we're trying to get back to we're trying to take that input triplet of RGB that we have coming in as linear and say, because this is what our linear image looks like. Yep. Come on, drag. Just coming in straight as a linear image. What we're doing is kind of tweaking and mapping. So let's just say we had a camera that had 16 stops. The farther apart these are, the more compressed the image gets, or the more adjustment is made. But it's not entirely smart, so sometimes you might need to tweak where mid-gray should sit, because this pivot is kind of telling it where to pinch and shape things to fit it into the box that it needs to be in for the Photochemist system to run well. And then sometimes there needs to be a little bit of an exposure offset as well. It tweaks it. It's kind of one of those things. Usually, I mean, I'll be honest, I rarely fiddle with this outside of the fact that sometimes, depending on what camera and what things come through, what needs to be done to affect the image. So you're thinking about, like, how do I get it into the pipeline that is necessary for the Photochemist system to run properly and feel proper. Saturation awareness kind of tweaks the system. If left to its own devices, will take away all the saturation of the input image, which isn't good. But it's a stylistic choice thing where you can, swing that if you want. I'm not opposed to playing around with that creatively, depending on the look that I'm developing. But it is at 100%, it's maintaining the level of saturation that your input image had, even though it's doing some fancy-dancy math to it. And that is why it is doing its thing. And it's quite simple. I mean, honestly, target range, you think about it, most film stocks, we're thinking about the negative film stock, not the Prince film stock, which usually has less. Somewhere between 7 to 10 is like the theoretical target of how many stops exist in it. And so, like, I usually just set it, my default there is 6. Sometimes I'll push it up to 7, and you'll get, just in terms of how contrast works, most cameras are above, have a lot of stops. We're in linear, so you can kind of push this up, but it is kind of saying the gap between these two is what needs to be handled. So the wider it is, the more compression is happening. So if one stays and the other one slides, that's why it isn't extremely necessary to be fully accurate with, my camera had so many stops. It's kind of just a guidebook for how the math is running in the system. and then this is kind of centering your mid-gray to what is suitable for the image and the look that you're developing. You can see that if you were looking at something like here, when it's happening, just switch this to balance modern so it's all happy. I already have this set up as area wide. That as we do it and we tweak it, you're seeing how some of the colors change in terms of their intensity as you tweak it. And then you're kind of just setting your mid-gray point. We have that gray patch there. If this changes it too much, but normally 0.18 is technically where mid-gray usually lies in it, and we can see see where this is dropping. So yeah, that's 0.18. It's dropping that mid-gray patch right where it's supposed to be. You can see if we rescale the pivot and take a drop, it just changes it, makes it a little bit brighter. Oops. So yeah, I moved it a little bit. So you're kind of just tweaking where that patch sits with the rescaling and exposure offset based on how it's going. And we are looking at the final image, which there's some things regarding that. But anyways, that's all that it's doing. It's just preparing your footage, your linear, Davinci wide gamut linear, to be something that the film development system that I put together works kind of properly. Anyways, until next time, the next video will probably be on film development, what these tools do. We only have to really go over one set of them because print and negative are exactly the same, but we'll probably talk about all of that, including, and then grain and halation, the texture tools will be on their own, and then we'll continue on with designing our film stocks. So until that time, enjoy whatever video is coming up next in the series. And I'll see you there.